So today we're going to be reacting to Dean Elgar's press conference or pre-tour interview that took place in Australia, of course. And we're going to look at it and see what he had to say, and then discuss every single point that he obviously had to make with regards to this particular series, etc. So that's what we're going to be talking about on the show today. But before we get going, before we get started, please subscribe if you're new. Click that notification bell for all future videos, please. Also, if you love South African cricket and you want to help us grow it, please become a Patreon today. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. You can also help us with regards to the company to support us too, for the information that we give you guys and everything that we do for you. Please get involved with the Patreon account. It will really help us if you do become a Patreon today. Also, download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. And yes, we are busy on the next issue, which we're hoping to publish tomorrow. So please download the latest issue and get subscribing today. And also, if you want to get any updates, regular updates, etc., like we have the quotes from the press conference as well on the site, which I haven't looked at yet, guys. To be honest with you, I want to keep it fresh for this particular reaction video, so I can actually react to it raw with you guys and watch it with you guys. So go to cricketfanaticsmag.com to get some content there too as well. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Looking forward to this one. A very good evening and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your daily show. I'm your host Khalid, and this is the show where we talk about all the major talking points in South African cricket. And today we're going to be watching and reacting to Dean Elgar's thoughts before this Australia tour. So what I'm going to be doing to you, we did put the video on the site as well, on YouTube as well, for you guys to be able to watch it. But this particular one, we're going to be doing with you. So I'm going to be reacting live to it and then giving my comments and seeing what you guys also have to say. So let's get straight into it, guys. Let's not waste too much time. Let's have a listen to what Dean Elgar has to say.
Well, Dean, South Africa have done tremendously well in the last few series in Australia. What have you learnt from that, and can you keep it going?
Yeah, we've had a pretty good record of late. I've experienced 2 tours here before and they ended quite well for us. But in saying that is the past, but the learnings out of that is one of we can compete and win here. That is a massive positive for us within our group, even though we do have quite a few guys here that haven't played a series yet. That is a positive that we can learn and focus with. Yeah, Australia is a great place to play Test cricket. I feel it's a good balance between bat and ball. Yeah, obviously conditions, we'll have to weigh that up once we get to the venues, but in general they're pretty good conditions for good test playing cricket. So yeah, a lot of positives for us going into the series.
And I suppose for you personally too, mate, you scored a century here in Perth, I think it was, so you can score runs here and you have done.
Yeah, I've also had the other side of it where you don't score runs. But yeah, in saying that, again, comes back to the conditions that we're going to face. Usually pretty good batting and bowling conditions. So yeah, and the disciplines have to be pretty key. So one thing that stands out for me is you've got to implement the basics and your disciplines, and hopefully the personal results and the team results look after themselves.
Then what are your memories of the Gabba?
I've never been to the Gabba.
So no scars for you then?
No, none. I don't think any of us have played a test at the Gabba. We've only ever played other test venues, so yeah, it's a lot of new, different environments for us. We haven't played, in my opinion, the big 3 test playing venues in the Gabba, MCG and SCG, which is exciting times for us going forward.
You touched on it, but you mentioned the not so good. It's obviously your debut down there in Perth. What are your memories of that? It was a really mixed game because it was your debut, but
yeah, we won. That's all that matters. I'm by no means a guy that focuses on my personal stuff, but we won that test and we won the series, which at the end of the day, that's the most important part of playing the game.
Dean, about a month ago, Faf du Plessis released a book where he refocused on the events of the infamous 218 series. Do you expect any lingering animosity from that series this time?
None at all. Yeah, it was a very tough time for all of us, even though we weren't the guys who got the brunt of everything, but we were part of that, and it was obviously sad events that obviously happened. But I personally don't hold any animosity towards the players that were involved or Cricket Australia. Yeah, unfortunate scenes, but I mean that period is long elapsed, and we've moved forward as a group after that.
We didn't fully realise until Faf's book just how bitter it was. Like it was really on for young and old, wasn't it?
Yeah, unfortunate scenes, as I said. I wish things could have been a lot different. The history between South Africa and Australia when it comes to Test cricket is so rich. The competitive nature is very similar. We both want to go out and win and play a brand of cricket that our countries are proud of. Yeah, it was extremely juicy, even building up to that game in Cape Town. Yeah, it was interesting times, let's put it that way, and hopefully that's been put to bed now.
Why will it be different this time?
Well, hopefully there's no antics going on the field that no one gets busted for. As I said, it was sad to see those events unfold. But I'm pretty sure on the field there's always a bit of spice. There is always. Again, the history between South Africa and Australian cricket is rich, and yeah, we love playing against Australia. We've got a deep respect for Australian cricket. So yeah, hopefully we can put on a good spectacle.
Talking about that, guys, I remember that series very, very clearly because, yeah, it was one of my first series as a journalist at the time. And seeing those things actually happen in front of my eyes was crazy. Like, for example, I remember when I was in the front row when the moment happened. When I'll actually tell you what it was like, actually. So we had a press conference. We were waiting for a press conference, and we were told, because at this point, the media in the media box, everything that was spoken about was what we saw and what we witnessed or what we saw online at this point. At this point, there was no confirmation that ball tampering had taken place. So all of us were chilling there after the second time, after Bancroft actually got caught. And after the particular day's play, we were waiting around discussing who they're going to bring. And it must have been equal. It seemed like it was equal amongst everyone that was in the media box at the time. The shock when we saw two players come up, Smith as well as Cameron Bancroft, both coming to the press conference. And I think that shocked a lot of us because it almost seemed like this was the moment where they will either be telling the truth or lying about it. Initially, when the conversation started with Smith, he almost kind of took the responsibility and kind of took that away from Cameron. But at the same time, Cameron actually came forward and was admitting it. So to hear people, players of that caliber sitting in the front row of a press conference, you take in the video, etc., and hearing them say that they admit to cheating or ball tampering was a major shock. I could feel the tension in the room. I could feel the energy in the room shift. It was a remarkable, remarkable series. I watched it grow and build. Like I said, I also believe that the incident in PE, when all that nonsense was coming out about David Warner and his wife, etc., and those those private things that came out, obviously it wasn't really necessarily private. It was quite common, well known by that time that all of those reports were coming out on the media about her, and as well as Sunnyball Williams. That was coming out in that period as well, from the first defeat to the second match. And also in Durban in the first match, there was already things happening with regards to David Warner and Quinton de Kock and Aiden Markram. So it all brewed there. There was a little bit of a tense moment after the one session in the tunnel, and that footage was obviously leaked. That there was almost like a fight between the two sides, etc. Um, and then it got leaked to the public what it was about, and something was said by Quentin de Kock that somehow got out to the media. I don't know how, and eventually that information got to the fans, and fans made statements about certain things. There was a group of people that actually wore Sonny Bill Williams masks to the stands. They were obviously interviewed as well. Also caught with the achieve. I actually interviewed them, actually the owner, and those videos actually went quite viral at the time. And then after that, you could see something change in the camp. David Warner was on the boundary, and these guys were shouting at him. Obviously, Warner's wife came out speaking about it as well, and how is disgusting. Australian news spoke about how it's disgusting. The fact that they were even interviewed was also apparently disgusting. I ended up being on Channel 9 at the time, and with a video that I interviewed in Australia, and I didn't believe it. I actually was told in the media box that my video went viral, and I'm on Channel 9. So that video went viral as well, and people got to see that the whole Sunnable Mars thing, and that information came out. And I think all of those things brewed up until the point where also the KG tension that happened as well. That also caused a little bit of things when KG almost got banned as well, or Australia tried to get him banned, etc., with Smith and the brushing on the shoulder. So there was a lot of things underlyingly building throughout that test match. I remember sitting outside outside the hearing room for KG in Port Elizabeth, or Kabeja as it's now called, waiting for the verdict on whether KG is going to play or not. It was a very stressful time and period as well, from that perspective. So it was a lot of things that built up before that Cape Town incident happened, and I think the pressure built and the hype built on top of Australia, and I felt they cracked almost. A lot of people said that these things were happening in the England series before this already, with granules of sugar. There was obviously things that were released, so maybe this wasn't just a targeted South African thing. Maybe it was happening behind the scenes and people just didn't know about it. I don't know. Those are the different options that you can think of. But let's continue with this, with what Dean Elgar has to say.
Pat Cummins under a bit of an injury cloud at the moment. That fuels speculation, certainly in Australian media, about who might be a successor if he's not to play. How do you feel about coming up against the like of Steve Smith or
David Moore.
Thank you, mate. David Warner in that situation.
Yeah, I mean that's their issues to deal with. I only heard this morning that he's got a niggle. I wasn't even aware of it. I don't even know what the injury is. Yeah, that's their stuff. We can't control that. I'm just trying to focus on what I can do in-house with the South African side. Yeah, whoever successes him, if he doesn't play, yeah, it's again not my decision, but I'm pretty sure the game's going to be played in a certain way that Test cricket's going to be respected in the end.
There's no bad blood?
No, not at all. I definitely don't have any bad blood towards them. Again, what's in the past is in the past. It's happened. I don't hold any grudges whatsoever. Both Smith and Warner, two cricketers I've played against for over a decade. So, yeah, I definitely don't have any bad blood whatsoever.
I don't understand why so many questions were actually asked about this. I mean, it is in the past, like Dean Elgar was saying. I mean, majority of this team wasn't involved in that series. So it's crazy that they made this the focus. But I understand, journalists are looking for a story to write, and they want something obviously that's going to hold some weight, and hoping that Dean Elgar says something that maybe stops up that rivalry again, because that rivalry and that spark and that fight between two teams makes the series spicier. It does make it a little bit more spicy and more entertaining.
Can I ask you about the quartet? You said you haven't played at the Gabba, which is interesting as it is, but the fast bowling quartet you've brought here, they're going to love bowling there. Just tell us a bit about them and about those bowlers and what they do for your team.
Yeah, we've obviously got Kagiso, Lungi Ngidi, Anrich Nokia, Marco Janssen, promising left-arm seamer, and then we've got a young guy in Gerald Kutsia who's got out-and-out raw pace, which is exciting to have in my change room. I had to face him a few weeks ago, which I'm happy that he's part of our squad now. Yeah, they all bring something different to the table, which is you're always trying to get the balance right. I think KG's career speaks for itself. We know what Nokia does with regards to bringing the heat, but also his skill sets are up there, so he can balance the two different game plans if he has to. Lungi Ngidi's been around where his skill set, and if the ball swings around, he's the one bowler that's going to get the swing out of the wicket. And then Jansen also brings a lot of pace and bounce. I mean, he's 6 foot plus, and yeah, he's our tallest member within our bowling ranks. So they all bring something unique, which is nice to have. When you come to Australia, you want to have a balance of skill, and you want to have that balance as well with regards to the raw pace that they bring to the attack. Yeah, Australia is another great place for fast bowlers to bowl. You get a lot of value if you execute your skills and hit your areas where there's a lot of pace and bounce in the wicket. But again, it's pretty well balanced conditions generally. Hopefully it plays out this way in this series, that yeah, we just get some really good cricket underway.
I guess.
So at least that reveals something to us, guys. What was said there is revealed to us, of course, because in my opinion over there, if I'm talking about this, he didn't mention Lazard Williams, for example. So he only mentioned Lungi, KG, Andrich, Marco Jansen, and Gerald Coetzee. So that gives us a clear indication who are first in line with regards to the bowling attack. So that's an interesting one to actually see. Let's continue.
Rabada, he actually announced himself in the last tour here, especially the first 2 Test matches which you won. He was outstanding in those. I guess you'd be hoping someone else does the same, but fond memories for him. This is where he really did make a mark early in his career.
Yeah, no doubt. But KG, I think his career and his repertoire speaks for itself. He's been a part of our Proteas team for quite some time now. Yeah, again, I think it speaks for itself what he can bring to the table.
Cool. I'd love to take last round of questions.
How's South African cricket going? Because we read a lot about the T20 competition, financially difficult state. Do you feel it's on solid ground? Are you concerned?
I think for the first time in a couple of years now, it actually is at its most stable. We've obviously had a lot of changes with regards to the administrators that we have within Cricket South Africa. Again, us as players, those certain things can't hinder us from performance. We've almost gotten used to those kind of bad headlines, but I think for now it's stabilising quite nicely. We've got a new CEO. We've had a new board now, which are obviously coming in and making good cricketing decisions, and we've got a new director of cricket who's really focusing hard on our Proteas brand. Again, those little things we can't focus on. It's totally out of our control as players. We need to do what we can do to try and get results on the board for us, and that's our currency with regards to cricket. Playing back home is getting performance on a good side for us.
It's good to hear Dean actually say that he comes across always as a very honest guy. So it's nice to hear him obviously speak about the where he feels South African cricket is, and he says it's quite in a stable position over there currently. Now I've got a few opinions on that, and it's particularly on SA20, and I feel there are a couple of things, and there's a topic that I'm probably going to discuss later on this week, which is about SA20 and what it needs to do to survive. So that's maybe a topic we'll speak about a little bit later. I think that's a nice topic to actually discuss closer to our magazine, which we're going to release the next issue after this one. So yeah, we're going to be talking about that sometime this week, and I'll speak about it. But it's good to hear that Dean Elgar is speaking positively about where South African cricket is, about the CEO, about the board, and all of those type of things. He is a very honest man, so it does seem quite genuine in my opinion. But maybe that's also because it's aligning with what I believe as well, by seeing them, by knowing by knowing Enoch and understanding where he's going with regards to his mindset and his mindset and mentality, which you guys have seen firsthand on our shows too. Whenever I bring him on and we discuss, he's open and honest with me, and he's given us information that we need to understand what South Africa needs to do to go forward. So it's good to hear that things are calm. I know there's a lot being asked about the bowlers by Australia, but it's our batters that really need the focus, guys. We need our batters to perform. if we don't have Dean Elgar scoring runs, etc., and our top order can't score runs, I think we're really going to struggle in this series. I don't think we'll just win the series just by bowlers. I honestly don't believe that. At this moment where we are at, we really, really need contributions from everybody, and we also need particularly contributions from our batters.
But what about scheduling? It's interested in your thoughts on whether Australia playing the West Indies at the moment. Do you think that plays into your hands or plays against you?
Well, that's the scheduling. I can't control that. Yeah, ideally we would have liked to have maybe played a test series before coming here, but it is what it is. Again, it's out of our control, out of our hands. We do have a lengthy period building up to the series where we've got to maximise our facilities that we have. We've got a 4-day coming up soon as well, which we've got to try and maximise and give the players the best chance to obviously get some good results and performances under their belt and make sure we're best prepared as a squad going into the series. I feel there's a lot of good brains within our setup here, which can give our players the best opportunity to try and perform. So yeah, it is what it is. Again, scheduling is totally out of our hands as players, and yeah, we just got to make do with what we have.
In saying that, the Aussie tap was made to work pretty hard in Perth, and they play again this week. Whether they will play, whether Cummins plays, or whether there's a couple. So you think it's a good time to get them when you do get them next week?
Oh, I think they're going to be pretty well prepared, though, irrespective of what happens in the next game. They've obviously got some good time in their legs with regards to batting and bowling. Yeah. But again, I'm not focused too much on my opposition. I will closer to the time. For now, we've got to maximise our time that we have here in Brisbane and make sure we give ourselves the best opportunity come the 17th of December. So yeah, that's my main focus as captain, is to obviously try and utilise what we have at the moment.
And Marnus, how do you get him out, mate?
Well, I guess top of all for the odd bouncer seems to be a good indicator when it comes to playing Test cricket. I don't think that theory has changed at all. Again, he's one of the form batters in the world, and I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of extra spice knowing that he's ex-South African as well. No, we just got to focus on what we can, and he's a human being. He's also prone to fail as well, which hopefully plays in our hands.
Would you chip away in Afrikaans too, maybe?
Possibly. My last encounter with him was in a county game, and he spoke Afrikaans to me, and I was like, oh, okay. But who knows? We'll see.
That was brilliant. I actually like the tone of this particular media session that Dean Elgar had with the media in Australia. I wish I was there, guys. That would have been awesome, eh? Let's get me up to that level, guys. Let's all work together. Let's get this platform going, get this platform higher, so that I can eventually maybe afford to be able to go to Australia to cover these games live and give you guys exclusive footage. But just my thoughts quickly on this particular interview. I think Dean handled the questions well, calmly, didn't get irritated at all, very calm, very collected, looks relaxed. So, which is a good thing, I guess. But I like the fact that he said that now they need to focus on themselves before they're worried about the opposition, because I think that's their biggest gripe, or their biggest disadvantage, is themselves. Mentally, especially. I think they need to just focus down, buckle down, and try and use techniques or something that is going to help them push. I'm talking about the batters here. Push past those thresholds that have been problems for them in the past. I don't think there should be as much excuses in this particular series like there would have been against England, or maybe in Pakistan when we played there too. Because I feel that these conditions are going to suit South African batters as well. I think we'll be familiar with the bounce and the pace. Well, we thought that as well for the T20 World Cup, and look what ended up happening. But I feel that we lost the T20. Let's be honest, though. I feel that we lost the T20 World Cup because of mentality, because of a weak mentality within the team, to be honest with you. That's what I think lost us that World Cup. But we're going to have to show, and Dean Elgar has a different type of mentality, I feel, to our captain, Temba Bavuma. They operate differently, in my opinion, with the way they think about things. But we're going to need our captain like we needed our captain actually to step up in the T20 World Cup, and this is not the same format, of course. So I don't want to be bringing it up again, but we're going to need our captain in the Test arena to pull his weight in this one. He needs to set the tone, lead by example, score runs, because he hasn't scored runs in a long time as well. And he sets the foundation for this team because of his experience, because of his age, because of his style of cricket. I think he sets the foundation for this entire team. He gives the team a cushion if he performs well. He really takes the pressure off the youngsters if he performs well. This is a type of test series that I feel that we'll probably also play 7 batters. I think that Malibonga Maketa will be moving a little bit closer to a 7 batsman because of the frailties. From what we've interviewed him, Ungama's interviewed him in the past recently, getting some of that thoughts out of him, and I think they're going to go with that. I do think that the likes of Tennis de Bruin could possibly get an opportunity, and I think it's going to be a massive test for him to come into this Proteas team and how can I say, rebuild faith with the fans, because I think some fans have lost faith in him when it comes to the Proteas setup. He's brilliant domestically, but he hasn't been consistent internationally. But on the flip side, I believe still that he hasn't been given enough opportunities to really show what he's capable of. You see, I feel that when we select younger players, when they were younger in the career, I'm talking about now, Tennis was a little bit younger when he got selected first for the Proteas. It's a couple of years ago, of course. And I feel that we were too quick to get rid of him almost. I don't think we prolonged with him enough. And I don't think we prolonged with anybody enough. I think we sometimes give the wrong people longer time and the right people less time. And maybe that is also opinion based as well. And also maybe that is also on what I view on what's the right and what's the wrong selection. It is clear to me that the way they've went with this particular interim coach and the way they've gone with this particular squad, that the full fixation is on winning this test match and winning the test championship, and which I understand as well, because it will give us a nice winning foundation to build from. And I don't really necessarily disagree with them going in this direction with an interim manager. I feel if it was a permanent coach, I want to see a new strategy going forward, a new mindset with regards to selection. I want to see us prolong with certain youngsters that we feel have the right characteristics and traits to become great test players. The foundation of South African cricket, in my opinion, should be built on our test team. That is my opinion, but I don't think that everybody agrees. But the emphasis for our youngsters to play 4-day cricket needs to be there. I'm disappointed that certain players, youngsters never really got an opportunity to play in this 4 days so far. I am a little bit disappointed about that. I really wanted to see some younger guys get an opportunity to play 4-day cricket, because I feel that that's the foundation or the pivotal format that takes your game from being normal or good or average to being really great. So let's see what happens. I've already given my thoughts on this particular squad, which I'll bring up on the screen right now. I've given my thoughts on this squad. I said already that, okay, Steerman is not here, of course, because Lazard has replaced him. But I've given my thoughts on the likes of Zondo, for example, being selected. I would have gone with a younger Black African option if they were available. And in my opinion, that's what I would have done. And with regards to the rest of the team, I understand, what they've gone with. So could see, for example, still very young in international cricket, a really good player, very quick, and the pace is also very important. So it's good to see a youngster get an opportunity like Gerald Coetzee to show that we do back younger players. But we tend to do that with our seamers, though. We don't tend to do this transition. I think our transitional phase for our seamers is brilliant. We seem to be able to recycle these players, getting them into the setup, learning from the rest of them, gaining this confidence and all of these things, and building them as a bowling unit. We seem to be having that spot on. Our ages are superb with regards to our bowling attacks. We really are building a nice a nice circulation of bowlers coming through. There's a fresh circulation of bowlers coming through, a smooth circulation of bowlers coming through. Whereas with our batters, it seems like it's desperation. Let's just pick anybody that is doing well in domestic cricket, regardless of the way they score their runs, regardless of their conversion rates, regardless of their mental state, regardless of how they've performed under pressure. All of those things, I think, are important things that we haven't been looked at when it comes to our batting attack. So it's going to be very interesting how we're going to line up against Australia. We will obviously be doing previews and reviews and all of those things of the game. So stay tuned to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. Smack that notification bell to get updates. Tomorrow, I'll be interviewing someone special, guys, for the first time on the channel. Brad Porteous will be coming on the show tomorrow evening for the daily show. So I'm going to get to know him. So please bring your friends and family to the show to ask him questions, because I want to know how his career has gone and where he's gotten to the point now. He's at the Dolphins and scoring runs. I mean, he scored a century at Newlands that I watched. I actually watched the entire innings. So it was very, very, a very good innings and a very important innings under a lot of pressure. So I really want to get to know him a little bit more, because I've never spoken to him on this channel before. So it'll be interesting to hear what he has to say. Another announcement, guys, for the people in Cape Town. There are 2 matches happening. There's one at the Lions versus the Cobras. Sorry, Lions versus Western Province Blitz, my bad. As well as against the Titans. They're going to be happening this weekend. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be running another competition this week. So keep an eye out for the question on Instagram for the tickets. It's an opportunity for you guys to win tickets for that game as well. So what I would like you guys to do is please keep an eye out on social media. That's how you enter. And then I'll do a draw live on the show where we'll do a spin wheel that will select the players. We'll be giving it, this time we'll be giving it in, we'll be giving 2 groups of, we will be giving it in pairs tickets this time around. So for you and somebody else to take with to the ground, because we're getting less tickets for this because it's in high demand. It's obviously on the weekend and it's top like amazing clashes. So we'll be giving 2 tickets in pairs. We'll be giving tickets away for both games. So just stay tuned to the social media platforms to hear all of those type of things. Guys, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please let me know in the comment section what you thought about my thoughts on Dean Elgar, what you think about my thoughts on South African cricket in this particular video, as well as your own thoughts on what you think South Africa should do going against Australia. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell for all future videos. Don't forget to smash the like button, comment, share, as well as download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. Link is on the screen as well as in the description. We are working away at the next issue, which we are hoping to publish tomorrow. So stay tuned to social media as well for the announcements, etc. for that issue. Smash the like button, guys. You know what that you have to do. I would also like you guys to please help me out on Patreon. Become a patron today. This will help us promote and grow South African cricket with our content and the things that we are doing here. So it really will help us out if you become a patron today, guys. It will keep everything up and running and float, because this is our only, this is my business, guys, at the end of the day. So we're really going to need your help with regards to this and helping us grow this business. And also go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all regular updates. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I see Royal saying South Africa should try baseball. When will South Africa kick out Bavuma? It's always a question that's always asked whenever we do anything. And I don't think it will happen in the way we think it will. But guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with another daily show. Stay tuned for the exclusive interview tomorrow. Peace out, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your evening.